Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Conscious Cruiser podcast. I'm Alisa from Alisa's Adventures in Cruising, and I am with my buddies and co hosts, Scott from Controversial Cruising and Chet from Sea Lake Journeys. We're back for episode number 23. How are you guys?
Doing good, doing good.
Woo-hoo.
This is
Doing
our second
good.
consecutive episode. We got the train rolling back after a good month and a half off. We had an episode last week. We got one this week. We got one next week, and we're just going to keep on rolling the train.
That's right. We're cruising together again.
Loving it. That's right. I love it. And I can't wait till we could do this live on a cruise ship together on a Monday morning
Absolutely.
or something like that and have our
It's
coffee on a balcony or on the Lido deck or somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more than just goals, as the kids say. It's a plan. We're working on it. We're working on it.
We are. We are.
Well, today we're going to talk about something that we really don't like to think about, but unfortunately, it is one of those realities of cruising. We all love to cruise. We all love to get on the cruise ship and have a good time, but sometimes you come home with something a little extra, and I don't mean a souvenir. Sometimes you bring home what we call the cruise crud. For
Oh.
those of you who have not experienced it or have not cruised yet and are not exactly sure what we're talking about, I'm actually going to let Scott do that. Scott can explain the cruise crud, but
I dig it.
we sometimes pick up a germ or two, and I'd rather bring home the magnet or t-shirt, to be honest. But anyway, here we go. The know before you go approach to cruising, how to avoid the cruise crud.
Ugh.
Welcome into the Conscious Cruiser podcast, the know before you go approach to cruising and travel. The smartest cruiser is the Conscious Cruiser. And your conscious casters, Alisa, Chet, and Scott.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. We're back as usual to talk about our favorite subject, which of course is cruising.
Cruising. Ah.
Duh. But
Consciously
unfortunately,
cruising. Consciously cruising, right?
consciously cruising, to be more specific. And one of those things that you do need to be conscious of and have in the back of your mind is that unfortunately there's a possibility that you might pick up we'll just call it a bug. How about that?
But
While you're aboard a cruise ship, and nobody wants to bring that home, right? So what do we do to try and avoid that? I'm picking on Scott because it's Scott, but I'm picking on Scott
that's a
because
good
I
reason.
think he can give a good definition of what we mean by the cruise crud. Can you, Scott?
I think you are correct. Unfortunately, on my last cruise that I came home on about a month ago, I did catch the cruise crud. Now, it is this mysterious cruise, I guess you could call bug. We don't know exactly the source, where it comes from. There are many, many different strains of this cruise crud, so there's not just one cruise crud. And unfortunately, the party that I was with on the last cruise, we actually all
Oh.
kind of either gave it to each other or we had it, and whatever it may be. And we all had different variances of this cruise crud, but I
Mm.
did come home, and for the last week, I was actually a little bit under the weather. And that's really what the cruise crud is. And I think there are now a lot more preventable measures that you could take as a cruiser. You have to be aware. And this goes further than just cruising. This is kind of in the world, right? People are not going to be as sanitary as you are, myself, Alisa, and Chet, right? And Robin, they're not going to be as sanitary as everybody that you kind of is in your circle. So you see people going around the cruise ships coughing. You see little kids coughing, touching things, not even, trying to cover their mouth or do it in their armpit. So it's your job to kind of safeguard yourself and come to the harsh reality that you just have to be a little bit more mindful and aware that these things are out there and you could catch them. And I did. I caught them, and it wasn't fun. It really wasn't.
It wasn't fun. It's already hard to get off the cruise ship because we're having a good time,
Cruise
but to
blues.
come home and then to feel,
Uh,
it's not cool. It's not cool.
correct.
uh, before anything that you would like to add today, Mr. Chat, before we jump into topics?
Uh, I just recommend that you do everything you can not to catch this. So we're going to give you those tips right here today on episode 23 of the Conscious Cruiser.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I guess the first thing that I was going to ask about is just generally, do you think that what we're calling the cruise crud is something that we see more now versus, say, 10 years ago? Do you think that was a concern then, or is this a newer thing, the
Well, I tell
cruise
you,
crud?
we've been cruising 21 years. And like you say, 10 years ago, we'd never even heard of anybody. I don't remember ever hearing of anybody getting sick on
Agreed.
ships. I'm sure it happened,
Yeah,
but I think today there's so much more awareness of it thanks to the news reporting it. You find it on YouTube, you can hear it, anywhere you go, there are people talking about, well, somebody, this cruise ship's got a bunch of sick people on it. And there's
yeah,
just more awareness of it now because 10 years ago, never heard, never heard of it. 15 years ago, never heard of it. 20 years ago, no
definitely.
concern.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of difference in the awareness of it.
Absolutely.
I agree. I agree with that. And I think we maybe at that time we were starting to hear things about like norovirus or people having we just called it the stomach bug, We just
Mhm.
called it, oh, my stomach was upset or it must be all that rich food I tried while I was on the cruise ship. But now it's morphed into a little something more. Is that what you're seeing too, Scott?
Yeah, 110%. Absolutely. I mean, let's be real, right? Since the pandemic, right, there are a lot more there are a lot more strains and there's a lot more ways to get sick out there now, of
Yeah.
course. And right, they are reporting it. And you have to understand, right? On the cruise ships, you have 4,000, 6,000 people. And if that
Mhm.
amount of people end up getting sick and there's a percentage that the cruise lines actually have to report to, right? So that's why you're seeing, okay, norovirus breaks out on P&O, norovirus breaks out on Carnival, and these aren't real things, but I'm saying you
Right.
have seen them in the last 6 months
Mhm.
to a year pop up, and you're like, oh my God, norovirus. But you also have to think there's only 2,500 people, and or I think it's 4%, but don't quote me
Don't
on that.
quote me. Yeah.
Is a percentage that they actually have to then report and say, okay, there is an outbreak, right? Even if it's just that low 4%, they still have to report it. And I think now we're seeing it more because yes, I think more people are getting sick and there is a lot more variants out there since the pandemic. And I don't know if people are being as cautious as they were right when we came out of the pandemic. So, like I said, there's a lot more people on the last two cruises I was on, excuse me, that were coughing and sneezing and still touching things. And, it's just
Mhm.
disregard, I guess you could
Yeah.
say, for the other common folk and your other common people that are around you. You just think that that's you. Like, oh, I'm the only person on the ship. Like, whoa, you are
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
on the elevator and you just sneezed, and now I gotta walk through your sneeze. Right?
Oh,
Just thing like you wouldn't just, poo and then let somebody walk through your poo, right? Like, come on, people. Like, I don't know. I don't know. So yes, definitely more.
I do think we've all generally have, sort of let our guards down since the pandemic, and we really shouldn't just in general in our everyday lives because the germs are still out there, right? We should still be taking those precautions. Maybe we're not, wiping down the mail from the mailbox like we were for a minute, but in general, you still need to be doing basic things that will help prevent the spread of disease, like washing your hands, using the hand sanitizer,
Mhm.
and not traveling if you're sick.
Correct.
So, anyway,
Yeah.
but you're like, yeah.
And
So,
hey,
Chet,
I
what do
get
you
it, right?
do?
You only have like a week of PTO and then you end up getting
No, I
sick and you
get it.
still go. But,
Yeah,
think about what you're spreading and think about the possibility of, you putting yourself in an environment that is, alcohol and gambling, right? If you do drink, right? Now you're drinking and you're weakening your immune system and you're
yeah,
actually getting yourself more sick by trying to come on this vacation and trying to enjoy yourself. And now you're spreading your sickness to other cruisers and crew members and myself.
Of course,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
PTO is precious, and we don't want to waste our PTO, and we definitely don't want to waste money that we've spent on these vacations, on these cruises. But that's when the trip insurance comes in. That's a whole other subject. But you do have to kind of take some precautions. So anyway, sorry I cut you off, Chet. You were gonna say, what do
No.
you do to kind of safeguard against these things when you're cruising?
Well, I use those little things they call the sinks. They got them in your cabin before you leave. They've got them in the restrooms around the ship, and they even have them before you walk into the buffet. Sinks here,
Washy,
sinks there,
washy.
sinks everywhere, and yet I still see people just walking right past them like they don't know what they are. Those are sinks, y'all. You can wash your hands in them and help stop the spreads of these germs going around making people sick. And so I do it. I use them. Sometimes I just wash my hands in the cabin, and then I stop by the bathroom and I wash my hands again because I know there's somebody in there, and I'm trying to set an example. Hey, dude, look, are you going to wash your hands too? Because I'm washing mine. And then when I leave, I get to the buffet and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wash my hands again because that guy that just left the bathroom behind me did not wash his hands. So I'm going to show him one more time. This is how you do it. I set an example, wash my hands again. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it don't. Wash your hands, people.
Definitely wash your hands. Oh man. And a lot of these cruise lines now, I know they have taken away the hand sanitizer, but they have hand washing stations too, next to a lot of the eating venues it's just a automatic sink, soap dispenser, and then a sink, an automatic sink. And it's just a quick, 30 seconds, and then you're done.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that hand sanitizer too. That is not a substitute for washing your hands. It is a supplement to washing your hands. It's like a vitamin. You can't just take vitamins and live and have good nutrition. You got to eat some real food, So the real food here is washing your hands, and that vitamin is the hand sanitizer right behind it to accentuate it. So yeah, use them both if you got them. That's a good tip for y'all.
Agreed. I find that my last couple of cruises, I'm finding that people, I think right after the pandemic or during the pandemic, if we were cruising, we were all happy, relieved, appreciated seeing someone standing there reminding you to wash your hands, washy, washy. They turned them into little songs. We were happy to see the sinks and the sanitizer and the soap dispensers and all that. And now I'm seeing that people are kind of annoyed. They're kind of annoyed that they're being asked to wash their hands or reminded that that's what it's there for. And I just say to everybody's like, of course we're on vacation and we're there to have a good time, but we're not in a bubble where nothing is going to happen. And that's their job, to try to maintain it as safely as possible. So don't get annoyed when they're asking you to wash your hands. They're not picking on you like you've done something wrong, or they specifically saw you do something wrong. Just wash your hands, please.
Yes, please.
And I'm going to take I guess a trending or a viral approach to this, because I know that this is something that I guess got banned recently from one of the cruise lines, Carnival. And I had brought this actually multiple times before, but here's the solution. I got a solution for you. Okay. That little tiny little travel bottle of Lysol. Guess what? I love it too. Yep. Right there. That exact travel bottle.
I happen to have one handy for those who are listening.
Perfect. Right. And yes, that does work. I always do it before in the cabin. Right. Yes. You trust your cabin steward, but you always just get it, do a little wipe down. Now, you can't bring that little aerosol can. I guess they say it starts fires or blows up or whatever it may be. But they have that same exact setup in a wipey thing, right? It's like a 10 wipes doused in Lysol, and you just take one of those out. You take a paper towel from your bathroom, and you do the same thing. Right. And people are up in arms. I can't bring my Lysol. Yes, you can. You can bring the wipes, and they do just the same thing. I actually bring a couple packs of them because I do a around the toilet too. And even if I have a clean toilet mate or a clean roommate, I even if I'm going to do a sit down on there, I'm going to do a little washy to keep us all safe. Right. I don't want my butt on your butt and your butt on my butt. And we just we safeguard. And I think that's a really good tip, just to kind of safeguard ourselves if we're being a little bit more aware before we end up catching what I caught last week. And, we just takes an extra wipe. It just takes an extra wipe down. That's all it takes.
Correct.
Lysol, not a sponsor. We're not a sponsor yet.
We use the Clorox wipes. Robin from Sea Lake Journeys brings the Clorox wipes and does all that. That she's done it for years. Yes. Clorox wipes everywhere, like you said, Scott. Even the toilet, the sinks, every countertop in that place, the
door
phone,
handles,
the light switches, door handles, everything. So we walk in the cabin. She does all that first before we even start filming the cabin tour. And but she carries a lot of that stuff with her. Kleenex and small packs, so she's always got a tissue. No matter where we are, main dining room, got a tissue. Out on a shore excursion, she's got a tissue. Sitting in the atrium, got a tissue right there. Because you don't know when you're going to be like, oh, I got to sneeze, I need it, and there it is. And
we love Robin and her Girl Scout skills.
Yes, her Girl Scout skills.
She's prepared.
She brings baby wipes to wipe stuff too, and she even, believe it or not, has toilet seat covers that she takes. Really, she does.
Smart.
Yeah, because
very smart.
But the best thing of all, she has all this stuff with her all the time, no matter if we're on the ship or off the ship. She's my little Girl Scout pack mule, and that's my recommendation for you. Get yourself a Girl Scout, guys, and someone who will carry all this stuff and bring it with you to help you stay safe.
Good tip. And now, Chet, asking for a friend, where do you find one of those?
I found mine at the bank, believe it or not, about 30 years ago. I said, well, she doesn't really like me because she sees I ain't got no money.
That is funny. Took a little bit of guesswork right out of that from the beginning.
Yep. He's broke, but oh well. He's got something going for him, I guess.
Oh my gosh, you guys are too funny. Too funny. Just to follow up on something Scott was saying about the Lysol, and I do normally carry this little can, or I've carried bigger cans of Lysol, as well as the wipes. But that was quite the controversy about not being able to bring on the aerosol cans anymore, and I do think that's what it's about the aerosol cans. This last cruise, because we were all concerned about that, I actually went and bought a similar product, but it's in a spray form, and I had no problem. So I don't know if we want to try that. I know it's a little more difficult if you're flying, but I just drove to the port so I could carry that with, and I did the same thing you're talking about, Chad. I went in, did my wipe down before I unpacked anything. So
definitely
just to be on the safe side. So
if you want to put that in the description too, because I'm interested now for the squirt bottle, the spray bottle version.
Oh, okay.
Of that.
Yeah, sure.
When I go, I mean, I'll bring both. I bring the wipes, and then if it's inexpensive and it works, let me know, Alisa.
No problem. No problem. So what's a good health tip for cruisers cruising in these heightened times? You know what? Before we do that, I should have gone to a commercial break. So I'm just chatting away. But today's podcast is sponsored by our very own Sea Lake Journeys. So let's see what Sea Lake Journeys has to say.
I'm Robin, this is Chet, and we're Sea Lake Journeys.
That's right. So come on with us, and we're going to show you the ships, the ports, and the excursions that we do while we're cruising.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and of course, YouTube.
That's right. So come on and join us on all the fun things we're going to do. We also have live shows Wednesday and Friday morning at 8:30 Eastern Time, and Sunday night at 6 p.m. So come on and join us there too.
And don't forget, we have a wide variety of videos on YouTube, from everything from the food, to the rooms, to the excursions, to the ships.
That's right. So come on and join us for the fun here at Sea Lake Journeys. I think I will.
That would be awesome.
Go join
them. Before I interrupted myself, I was saying I think we all are, just trying to be healthy and practice good good tips before we cruise. Is there something that you are doing extra now or doing instead of? Go, Jack, go.
Call me, teacher. I've got one that this is what we do on every cruise, and we try to always do. Use your own cabin bathroom when you can. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you're in the atrium, but you're not really doing nothing. You're sitting there messing around. If you can get back to your cabin in a decent amount of time. And you know what? You've already cleaned it, so you don't have to work as hard cleaning that as you do if you go to a public bathroom. You know what I'm saying?
you're limiting your exposure.
Yeah.
Yes. So use your cabin bathroom when you're able to. That's my tip.
I think
It's a
that's
good
a good
tip.
one. I think that's a
I
good one.
honestly do that even if sometimes if I'm depending on what kind of bathroom I have to go, we're not going to
Yeah.
go there. But even if I have to just go number one, I will sometimes go all the way across because I don't know, something about just going to the bathroom in your own bathroom. There's nothing quite like it. Okay. And you're limiting the exposure, way limiting the exposure, by the way.
Yeah, I do think we think of those cabins as, or your hotel room if you're not on a cruise, but you think of those rooms as your home away from home, and you do kind of try to settle in and get comfortable and get it to your standard of cleanliness. And
Yep.
yeah, I think you limit your exposure if you use the room that you know you've cleaned.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely. For me, I think I start with myself, right? Because the only thing that you could do is care about yourself and what you're doing. So 2 weeks before, I'm going to start, and this is kind of always, I do a maintenance immunity build, but I'm really going to start to safeguard and build my own immunity for the ship, right? And let's say I am feeling a little sick or something like that. I'm not going to drink or I'm not going to expose myself where I could get sick. And then, okay, you either have to cancel the cruise or you go and you get everybody else sick. Right. So the only thing you could do is start to care about yourself. So 2 weeks before, I don't put myself in a bubble. Okay. I still go food shopping and all that other stuff, but I make sure that I am going to be healthy for my trip. So I'm healthy around everybody else. I'm feeling good. Right. Because if you don't feel good and you feel like crap, your vacation is going to stink. And 2, you're going to get people sick. So stay home if you're sick, safeguard before. And that's what I do. It's those times you have to be more aware about it and you have to be more conscious, about yourself and your immunity, right? Because it starts with you.
Absolutely.
And again, we are not and you. We are not sponsored yet on this podcast, but I, along with what Scott is saying, I'm a big fan. If you guys
Ooh.
can see, of the Airborne, I
Yep.
take the Airborne. You know, like you said, before you're going, build up your immunity. And these are, it's very small. You can take it and drop one into your own drink. Not suggesting you drop things into others' drinks. I'm just saying you can continue taking them while you're on the cruise ship very, very easily. And I think it helps a lot to just keep you all boosted up. Like you're saying, you're gonna be relaxed, you're gonna be doing a lot of different things and exposed to a lot of different things. You want to try and be as prepared as possible before you
Correct.
go.
And we're not just talking about meds too. I'm talking about, before a week before my cruise, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get some, well, we're in the season right now, but Sumo oranges, the Sumo citrus oranges,
Mhm.
amazing vitamin C,
Yeah.
right? And also another good immune boosting fruit, bonus tip for you guys, kiwis. I don't know.
Ooh.
Ever heard the term eat an apple a day keeps the doctor away? No, eat a
Yeah.
kiwi a day. You'll keep the doctor away. I promise you. Scoop that bad boy out. Actually, I have one sitting over there. I'm waiting to eat it, actually. So, yeah, kiwis and oranges. Immune
Yeah,
boost.
Kiwis and oranges.
I
Okay,
like it.
got it. Boost that vitamin C.
I like it.
Mhm.
I think we've already talked about this a little bit, but the question for the cast was, do you clean your staterooms again once you arrive? Um, I'm just going to share this, and I think I've shown this before or talked about this before. Yes, I do go in and I wipe down the cabin with my Clorox wipes and my Lysol and whatever else I want to bring. But I also travel with an air purifier, and I'm showing you guys this one, not again.
Ooh.
So you just showing you for the size. So it's small, it's compact. You can easily fit it into your suitcase, and I just turn it on in the cabin. I feel like I don't know if I'm bringing some germs from the
Yeah.
outside into my cabin. Hopefully, this is sucking it up. So that's something that I've started carrying since the pandemic, and I really am going to continue using it. 'Cause if nothing else, it helps my mind space.
Do you
I
leave it
feel like I'm
running the
doing
whole
something.
time too? Just do you leave it running?
I really I run it when I'm in the
Okay.
cabin. So yeah, you can easily recharge it, but
We'll put that in your description too. Share that along. Not sponsored yet, but ooh, I want to know.
Yeah.
That's a good tip.
Right.
Air
Yeah.
fryer.
what about anybody else have anything else that they do or thought about doing before they once we get on the ship?
Yeah, like I say, Robin absolutely. Robin from Sea Lake Journeys gets in there and gets busy, cleans that thing up, and makes me just kind of stand at the door and watch. That way, I'm not in her way, and she knows where she's been, and she got to clean behind me. And it don't take her long because she's a hurricane force of nature. She gets that all done, and she's got a routine that she does it, and then she'll go, "Okay, now we can film the cabin." So it's a routine. Just make it part of your routine. When you get on a ship, you're going to go to your muster station drill, and then you're going to go to your cabin and drop your luggage off. Oh, and then if you got to leave, the room steward's got stuff to do. When you come back, that's when you hit it. Bam, get it done right there.
Correct. And it's not just because we don't trust the stateroom cabins, right? Again, it's just a safeguard, right?
Mhm.
And it takes 3 minutes, it takes 4 minutes, whatever, to wipe down all of the most touched areas, right? Your balcony handle door, the toilet handle door, the bathroom door, right?
Yeah.
Your cabin door. People that they touch these things hundreds of times a day, right?
Yeah.
And we hope that your cabin steward cleaned it, but if not, guess what? I got a Lysol wipe, and I'm just gonna do a little wipey, boom, and you're good. It's kind of like a washy, but a wipey, right? Just do a little wipey with a Lysol or a Clorox wipe. It does not take long, and I'm not saying that it's the end all be all that you're not gonna get sick if you do this, but
Right.
again, it's safeguarding. It's safeguarding. That's all it is.
That's right.
Do you pack anything else? Like, do you still pack masks, or do you carry gloves, or do you anything like that you're just in case?
Absolutely,
Not
always.
me.
Not just like, nope.
Don't bring no
Just
mask around me.
curious. Just curious.
You'll
I'm
fight. I can't breathe even looking at one. I do everything else though. I do everything else I can do because I can't do that.
And how do you feel like after you come? We make stops normally on these cruises. We go get off on different ports. Do you feel like you know you're taking extra precautions when you're getting off, and then back onto the cruise ship? This is totally just a question for the cats. I know I threw this one in, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes when you come back in from the port and you have to go through the scanners and you have to, they're checking to see what you've brought on board.
Mhm.
People want to bring souvenirs or things that they've purchased there. And sometimes the alcohol, obviously, they're going to take that and put it away. But they're looking for other things too. They don't want you to bring food.
Right.
They don't want you to bring, certain things like that could be
Made weapons
for
like
health
the
reasons.
the
Yeah.
wooden daggers or swords that they cut and carve, so it could be used as a
Yeah.
weapon.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess I was just bringing that up, that folks shouldn't be surprised or offended if that ends up being an issue where they're saying, nope, can't bring it.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's all part of the general security,
Right.
safety.
Right.
And now you're kind of making me think a little bit, like, right? How about the souvenirs from the ports, like the keychains or the sweatshirts that have kind of been sitting in the shop for, I don't know, 7 years before you bought it, and
Yeah.
now here you come with a
Years.
$20 bill and you put it on and you're like, oh, whereas at home, if I buy something, I'm gonna wash it before I wear it. But I mean, on a cruise ship, do you do that? Like, do you take the extra safeguard? Do you Lysol your keychain? I mean, that thing has been sitting in Jamaica for a month, and you're just gonna put it on your keys and like, oh, look what I got. You know,
Yeah, and
Popeyes.
1,000 people have looked at it before you bought it. Yeah,
I'm not thinking about that, Alisa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Steve
I've
bought it.
never thought about that, but
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff.
that is food for thought there, Scott.
Yeah.
Maybe another
I
episode.
don't, I don't know that it's been sitting there for 7 years.
Maybe not
Oh,
seven.
some
There's a
them
lot of
have.
us coming through and buying those keychains.
Yeah.
Maybe not 7. 7 months, okay? 7 months.
Oh, well, this was another fun episode
Yeah,
of the
right.
Conscious Cruiser podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It is Monday, so tonight at 7:30 will be the the Conscious Cruiser. Yeah, my Conscious Cruiser friends are more than welcome to join me for the Monday mood check.
Love it.
So come on in and we will have a good time. What else we have going on this week, guys?
Oh, just the normal week for me. How about you, Chet?
Yep. Same old, same old. See me Wednesday and Friday morning and Sunday night at 6.
I love it. I love it. And if you guys haven't checked us out yet, check us out on Spotify and listen to this too as well.
Ahoy, fellow cruise enthusiasts. Ready to set sail on a sea of knowledge? Have you checked out the Conscious Cruiser podcast on Spotify? Well, what are you waiting for? Every week, our podcast is packed with all your cruising essentials. Whether you're driving to work, driving someone crazy, or driving to your next cruise port, pop on the Conscious Cruiser. We've got the best know-before-you-go cruise and travel tips. It's like having a cruise expert in your pocket. So give us a follow, give us a listen, and let's make your next cruise the best one yet. Don't miss out on the fun. Join the Conscious Cruiser community today. Now, back to the Conscious Casters.
Spotify, baby.
On Spotify. Don't forget about Spotify.
Can't wait to listen to us on Spotify again. I've listened to all of our episodes. I think I listened to our most recent episode before our little break. I think I listened to that like 3 times. So
You missed us. You missed us as you were cruising around the world.
I did.
Well, we will be back next week for
Well-
episode 24. And I think this time we're going to talk about maybe some casino deals.
Oh, lucky for you guys.
How about that?
So join us back for that, you guys. Appreciate
next
it.
week.
Have a great week.
Bye, y'all.